Welcome to another installment of Ballers on Budgets Cooking 101. Visit our site, www.ballersonbudgets.com, where you will find up-to-date information on living a socially active lifestyle, building social status, all while pinching pennies. Our site is not just dedicated to cooking. However, we all do eat, so we want to share a few budget-conscious recipes with you, some that will even impress guests whenever you may have them. Today we're going to make basically a roasted tomato and basil appetizer. It's even good just for you, just for lunch. It doesn't have to be a party appetizer. I make them just for myself when I want something light, and it's fairly quick to make. But it really is, it does impress people if you got a little get-together. Essentially, you're going to need a little olive oil, some minced garlic, some basil, salt, and pepper, and of course you need a French baguette. You can also use Italian bread if you want it, and you're going to need a little mozzarella cheese. I've already poured a little olive oil into our mixing bowl here and put some minced garlic in as well. And we're going to add a little bit of basil. Now the garlic, I happen to like a lot of garlic. So it all depends on your taste and how many you're making for. So I guess give it a couple of times that you make it to really get your taste down and how much you're supposed to put. So I can't really tell you to put a teaspoon or a tablespoon or whatever. I say just do it to taste, you know. And of course, excuse me, you want to mix that up. You see here my mixture is it's still a little dry. It's not as wet as I like it. So I'm going to add just a little bit more olive oil. There we go. That smells good. Oh yeah, I can eat that right up out the bowl. Okay, that might not be a good idea, but when you slice your French baguette or your Italian bread, I suggest using the thinnest pieces possible. I guess the reason behind that for me is because, like I said, this is a light appetizer. I don't like to be full most of the time. I don't like the weighed down feeling. And you're going to add tomatoes on it. So I wouldn't put half a baguette on with this thing. You know, I would cut a little, you know, that thickness there. What is that, like a ½ inch? That's pretty good right there. You don't really need more than that. And our tomato here, I forgot to mention that you're not going to use regular tomatoes. You're going to use Roma tomatoes. If you've never seen one of these, they look, what's this, oval shape. And they got them in pretty much every grocery store. It's really not expensive. But the way they fit onto a French baguette is perfect. If you're going to use an Italian piece of bread, Italian bread, then of course you can go with the regular sized tomatoes because they're bigger pieces of bread than Italian bread is. But even when I use Italian bread sometimes, I still stick with the Roma tomatoes. It's just something about the little baby tomatoes. They're kind of cute. So, let me get a couple more pieces of my bread here. And essentially then you want to coat your bread with your basil and garlic mixture here. Want to brush a little bit on there. Just like that. And throw them in your pan. And preheat your oven to 350. I preheated the oven before we even started rolling tape, so we're all ready to go. So then you're going to bake it on 350 for 10 minutes. In the meantime, we're going to sit here and slice our tomato. Let me wash off my cutting board. And we had 6 pieces there, so I don't like to waste tomatoes, and if I only cut a few pieces, like I said, of the baguette, if I was only making it for me, then I want to cut the same amount of tomato pieces so I don't have something just hanging over. There's nothing wrong with eating a plain tomato, obviously, but when I cook, I like to do it right. You know, I like to know what I'm doing and measure and don't waste anything. As you see, I used just enough mixture to coat the top of the baguette before I put it in. Now, and you can make all of your mixture in the beginning, but what I like to do, you're going to put a little bit of the mixture on the top when it comes out and you put the tomato and you put your cheese on there. But I like to mix mine up separately. I like to have a lot of the mixture on the bottom before the tomato and not so much on the top. So that's why I did how I did, and I used all of that for the bread without the tomato, and I'm just going to put a little bit more to put on top of it to top it all off. Okay, so we got about 8 more minutes, and we'll sit here. I'll eat this and wait for that to bake. So it's been 10 minutes now that we've had our baguette baking. See how that is golden brown there? And now we're going to put our tomatoes right on top. You see how the Roma tomato fits perfectly on top of a French baguette. And this is the whole point of using a baguette as and using it as an appetizer. You can just pop them in your mouth. But it's no problem if you want to use a Italian bread or anything like that. So after you put your tomato on the top, you want to sprinkle a little mozzarella on there. Yeah. And then, as I said, then you want to top it off with just a little bit more of that garlic and basil mixture that you made earlier. Now you want to put it back in the oven, this time on broil, and you want to broil it for 3 minutes. Okay, so it's been about 3 minutes. We're going to go ahead and take out our toasted basil and tomato. Ooh, buddy, look at that, son. Look at that right there. Ooh, now look at that. You serve that to your guests, I promise you they'll love it. Mmm. 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 Mmm.